Now, I'm walking away from my front door. I'm walking into my dining room area.
Sneaky. That thing is smart.
And I have the volume about midway. And all of these, this is my light. I'm next to my refrigerator. I'm in my kitchen right now. Going just next to my, my thing. Just allowing this to scan. Okay. I'm not right here. I'm back in the area where it's my dining room. I am going towards the light structure in my hallway.
That thing is smart, Mom.
Do you see this? Do you see this?
Sneaky. Sneaky booties.
In this high alert in this whole area. This is my bathroom I'm in right now. This is ridiculous.
We can't use the bathroom in peace, bro.
It's an invasion of privacy. My daughters go to this bathroom. I go to this bathroom. We get naked. I'm in my children's room right now.
They watch us sleep.
I'm in my children's room right now.
They watch us sleep, Mom. They watch us sleep. Because today we were sleeping in this room. They watch us sleep. Stinky booty.
And my bedroom is a repeat of the same. I think y'all get the point right now. There's crazy cars that park outside in the plaza that's next to my building, directly where my children's bedroom is at. My daughter went into her room a couple of nights ago, and she's like, "Mommy, it's this weird car that's just parked right on the other side in the parking lot." So I go in her bedroom and I look out I turn the light off. I turn the light off and I look out the window. And as soon as I turned the light off and got to the window, the car was pulling off and haul-assing, excuse my French, haul-assing out of the parking lot. This is the same vehicle that I saw in our own parking lot numerous of times. I don't know whether this person actually resides on this property, but that vehicle is either in that parking lot parked all hours of the night, as well as a black pickup truck with a little hitch that was connected to it, but they leave the hitch in the parking lot here. And there are cameras that will back up everything that I'm saying. A couple of months ago, there are people strategically placed around the property, in the vestibules, and all things of that nature. Because we don't have a proper lock on our back door, because they took the lock off the door after inspection, the maintenance man, I watched it with my own two eyes, unlocked the door and let us not have security again, right? Now let's talk about false representation, because when I looked up this apartment complex, it says it's a gated community, which means our safety and our well-being is supposed to be protected at all costs. And I also signed in on my lease that if there was disturbances to neighbors and things of that nature, that you will be talked to or whatever. I've been harassed more by these neighbors than they can say that I've harassed them. I haven't harassed anybody. If anything, I have helped a lot of people. I know y'all had undercover informant named Gloria. I don't know what her last name is, but I know she lived in apartment 306. Okay? And she did a whole bunch of things to myself and my children that was uncalled for and unnecessary. Questioning my children, doing things of that nature, just being underhanded and shady. Even the woman, Susan, that lived next door to her, as well as the Myers family themselves in 305. There's been a lot of corrupt things that have been going on this property. The little girl that resided with the Myers, you see, The mother has a drug addiction, and I believe the father was a drug dealer because number 307, Benji and Kayla at 2940 South Federal Boulevard, all hours of the night, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. There has been times that I've witnessed this little girl, Luca, going to apartment 307 by herself, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. And then there was other times I see her mom standing outside with her and the dog in front of 307 or somewhere in that proximity. Okay? I'm also aware that the gentleman, Eric, took Luca to the hotel because Luca told my children, yeah, she was going to the hotel with her family for 3 days. But, my children started asking questions like, oh, what hotel you going to? Because they were excited to know, like, about her experience because we've had experiences with going to get in the pools and the hot tubs and things of that nature. And, yeah, she said, I can't tell you. Her mother got literally upset and called her daughter and pretty much grabbed her up by her arm and shoved her, like, forcefully, but in a discreet way, pushed the child into the house and said whatever she said to the child. When the child came back outside, she was very sad and looking distraught. The next thing I know, the little girl is no longer here because they went on this supposed trip to the hotel.
It's been 3 months.
And it was 3 days that they were supposed to be at this hotel. But it turned into 5 into 6 days. When the little girl came back and she finally saw my daughters because they played very well together, they were excited to see her. But prior to the little girl coming back to our building, my daughters thought that it was enough time that the little girl should have been back. So they went and knocked and they said, Mommy, can we go down and knock on the door? So I'll go to the door. Sure, go ahead. They went and knocked on the door, and my 10-year-old asked the mother, can Luca come outside and play? And her mother said, Luca's still not back yet. Matter of fact, Sonique, do you want to say what happened?
Yes.
Okay.
She actually said she had no idea where her daughter was.
Wait a minute, here you go. I'll let my children tell you better than I can. They were there.
When I went to the door and knocked, I asked where Luca was. And she said she had no idea where her child was. And she said she was going there to go grab her child in a couple of weeks. Weeks turn into... Never mind.
That was when she left. We're talking about when she left and went away to that hotel and she came back the 5th into the 6th day.
She had no idea where her daughter was. And when they came back mysteriously, she acted like nothing happened.
So when my daughter came back to the house, like to me, she came back towards me. She's like, Mommy, this is weird. And I said, what? So I told him to come in the house so that we could talk. And she said, her mom just said she has no idea where her daughter is at. So I gave my daughter an analogy of my mother lives downstairs. So I says to my daughter, Sonique, I say, Sonique, if I'm going to the store or I'm going somewhere or you guys are even going somewhere, and I know that grandma is going to be keeping an eye to you while I go to the grocery store or go to the bank or, to the corner store. Doesn't really matter. I will let someone know where I'm going and my children will know. For someone to come and ask the mother of Sonique and Sanai, where are your children? They questioning me, asking me where, if they was to question me, asking me where are my children, I can proudly and successfully say, I left them with my mom. My mom, she's keeping the eye to them down at her apartment. I told her I had to go wherever it is that I had to go, the grocery store, corner store, wherever, and I'll be right back. Or if I was to take a trip and go somewhere, I would tell my mother as well, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm going to go do, and then I'll be back. And my children are made aware of that as well. So there is no discrepancy on if anything was to happen to myself or to them, I could be notified and, given description. I say that to say the little girl was here for, I want to say, not maybe a week after the return from the hotel. And then all of a sudden, I see her mom coming back. Now, mind you, my daughters are asking me, where's Luca? Where's Luca? Where's Luca? And I'm like, I don't know. So when I finally see Brianna, that lives in 305, she was walking up with suitcases along with the gentleman Benji that lives in 307. And she had a tan to her. So I was like, oh girl, I like your tan. She's like, oh thanks, we just came back. I think she said she's from Georgia or somewhere that she said that she was coming from. And I was like, oh, did you enjoy yourself? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. I'm noticing that at this point in time, not only is Luca not present with her, also, Mr. Eric is no longer on the scene.
He got arrested.
So I was, I'm like, is everything okay or whatever? Where's Luca? She's down in Georgia with my mom.
When she was at home.
She's down in Georgia with my mom. And, she's down there for a little while until I get some things situated. I can't say for verbatim what it was that she said, but it was somewhere along that line. And I said, well, where's Mr. Eric? I haven't seen him in a while either. She said he's in jail for a very long time. And I'm like, okay, what happened? Like, everybody okay? You know what I mean? Like, genuine concern. Yeah, he did something really bad to me and my daughter.
May I speak with you?
Now, me knowing this, I'm like, okay, this whole situation is it went all the way left based off of the things that myself and, my children had observed of this weird situation that was going on when it was going on. And it started, as I said, like in the early summertime. Because at one point when we first moved in here in July of 2020, we barely saw that little girl come outside. And then towards when it started getting in the swing of things, we started seeing her come out more and be able to interact. She said, the mother, Brianna, said that it was because she didn't know anybody, no other parents and things of that nature, and that my children and her child played really well together. So I was like, I'm for the children. I'm for the children. I'll go do what it is that I have to do for them. Bubbles, whatever it is that they want to do. Like, I'm willing to entertain those things. So it was just a little bit thrown off and weird that I had that conversation with her. Then, it just kept raising suspicions because it kept playing in my mind, like, what do you mean he hurt you and your daughter? And then I thought about the hotel situation and how this little girl was going with this grown man all of those days off of this property. And the cameras that are on this property, if they are not on, that's another lawsuit. And if they manipulated the camera work and tried to chop and screw whatever phone conversations that I've had, I know that my phone is hacked. I know this for actual fact. I'm not quite sure of actually who done it, but I know that the law is involved with it. Just like y'all shadowing my son, trying to set him up. Other things. The gentleman also that lives downstairs in the apartment, I want to say that is what? 305? Yes. 105, I believe. And then the apartment that's directly across. Hold on, let me go check it out so I can say exactly which apartments that are involved in other things over here in this apartment complex. Let me just see what apartment it is so I can quote it correctly. It's okay. Go back in my home so I can speak freely without feeling like I'm going to get killed, giving my account of what I've been witnessing over here. It's apartment 110 and also apartment 109. I know Miss Terry lives in the 110 address, and the 109, I'm not quite sure of what the gentleman's name is. If I'm not mistaken, his name is Tim or something like that, or Timothy or something to that nature. Tall, I want to say Mexican Spanish descent gentleman. And then also the apartment that is above it, which resides the gentleman Brandon, or he's a family member to the person that lives on the third floor in apartment 309, I believe. It's a whole lot of things that have been transpiring, like setups. This y'all been trying to set me up, talking about I'm selling drugs and stuff out my house. I got children in this house. Them same numbers that I called off previously, these people are selling more than anything that I smoke, which I smoke marijuana. Yes, I do, for my nerves, for my anxieties, and things of that nature. So if me admitting that, where Colorado is a free, legal state to purchase and consume, if I'm breaking the law, because there's no law, I haven't hurt, harmed, or injured anyone on this soil. But as I've stated, Gloria, and which is resided in 306, all the way down to those lower numbers that I named, and the neighbor that is across in 309, have all had intricate hand. And there may be other neighbors as well, but these are the key factored people that I have actually seen doing other things, and that I know that are involved in those things, because they asked me, did I know someone that does those particular drugs? Clear, whatever the hell that is. Blues. Y'all know my history. Y'all done looked me up. So y'all know that I got locked up for paraphernalia, and I was smoking crack at one point in time in my life. So it's no secret about that. Y'all have sent these people towards me to try to manipulate me into binding. First of all, my mission here is way greater than getting caught back up in that lifestyle that I asked God to get me out of, so that I could come back here and be the mother that I need to be to my children and build my legacy and foundation from once being broken. I'm putting in effort. Now you got to ask yourself, all of these people that are being paid to stalk, harass, plot, scheme, however you want to quote it, however you want to put it, that is more corrupt, and especially if they're getting paid by the police or anyone affiliated with government entity, title, and association. That means the umbrella people that branch off. Yes, I'm well aware of that as well. So, since I've been here, July 4th, 2019, because I know y'all researched that too, that type of thing too. When did my feet touch y'all soil? Yes, it did. Went through a whole struggle being here from that time until I was placed in the shelter. Yes, me and my son had an altercation. Like, it wasn't even an altercation. It was just like, okay, I'm about to get my stuff and go. Like, it's time for me to move forward. But me not really looking at the stress and aggravation that my son was going through based off of the harassment and the things that he was going through with his job. And then the people that were down in that park area when all he was trying to do was be the best person that he could be. You have government officials from the VOA that have met with my child downtown in that area of a lot of drug use, prostitution, shooting up, all types of things. The police harassing, the police sitting back and watching certain people run up on my child, just hitting him out of nowhere, and then come out of nowhere and say, Yeah, we sat there and we watched the whole thing. See, y'all not aware that I'm aware because I have a relationship with my children, with my child, regardless of what it looked like on black and white in my past, because I'm not my past. I'm right here in this present moment having this conversation with you guys with a sober mind.
Mommy got TikTok now.
Okay? So, for y'all to try to manipulate, dictate, dominate, discriminate, anything that is going to go against a person's free will, I think that is very distasteful. It's very hurtful. It's very vengeful. It's very spiteful because y'all want to save y'all behinds. Y'all really want to save y'all behinds that bad to not lose your position of authority, which you're supposed to be upholding and uplifting us as a citizen, being discriminated upon. And it's more so the people that look like myself or of darker complexion or anybody that identifies as African American. We're not African American. Sorry. We're Native American. And because I know that you guys that's in a higher up in higher positions, y'all know the truth about what they did to the ancestors in the lineage of the Native Americans and all the descendants of them, regardless of whatever shade they are. You see, we've suffered so many injustices to where it's like people just give up in defeat or participate in the corruptness of what it is that goes on perpetually in different societies in different countries on different levels and different orders from different hierarchies. We're aware of these things. We're becoming more aware of these things. They trying to silence me because I speak the truth. I do it humbly in this present moment. Back in the day, yes, I had an aggressive side to myself as well. They've also tried to use my drug use and my past against me. You can't do it because it's the accountability of what happens today, and I will not be provoked to come outside of my character of who I know I am to be and what I've been here to do for my ancestry and my lineage and my cause, for my lifeline, for my bloodline. This is not a game. It's not a joke. Y'all run around beating up on citizens, killing them senselessly. Oh yeah, let's talk about that. 2017, since you guys want to do background and research, did you also look up how my brother Keyshawn Wilson's death was covered up in Brick Township, New Jersey? Were you guys aware of that? Let's talk about it. And it took so long for them to give us any tox reports and things of that nature, the planning of pills and things of that nature, because everyone in my community was aware of what was going on there as well, with my brother trying to fight for his life as well, being stigmatized. Yes, he's played part. Yes, he has been on paperwork. But when you have a young man or young men or young women that are consciously doing the right thing based off of where they've been in their past, and they make a conscious choice and decision to change and show it in their effort, in their deed, in their dedication, in their loyalty to what it is that they're putting their most precious desire towards. My most precious desire is my children's legacy and lineage. To be able to tell a different story that has been told over and over and over again. Oh yeah. And while we at it, just setups, period. My cousin Tehran. It was Tehran Bunting. Suspicious death of them all. Very suspicious. And it has family, my family involved some way, form, or fashion. Whether it's through a friend of a friend of a friend. Same thing with my brother Keyshawn Wilson. Same way with my own self, but I'm not dead. And this is why everybody mad. Because I know what I'm here to do. And then nobody want me to do what I'm doing, and that's just letting this thing all hang out. So, we address that. Now, let's talk about some of my exes that have possible affiliation and ties to some things. We already spoke on how Craig Williams and his family, his mother, Dawn Roche's husband, Darren Roche, their son, Gerald Williams, their daughter, Elizabeth Bethia, Fannie Mae Simmons, and then their granddaughter, Jane Victoria Williams, and then the aunt. As I've said, I don't know what her name is, but I know that their grandmother's name is Fannie Mae Coley, and I know that the aunt's name is Aunt Liz, and there's also, as I've stated previously, Angel Frederick, Juan Frederick Sr., Juan Frederick Jr., Jermaine Frederick, Carla Frederick. Okay? I think I didn't miss anybody. If I did, if I can recollect, I will make another video to put them in as well. Like I said, because they have all these ties to police and higher ups and people of authority, judges, lawyers, doctors, all these things of that nature. Craig Ronald Williams Sr. is a child molester. He has been abusing Jane Williams and Craig Williams all of their life. And this admission came from his daughter, Jane Williams, because I still maintained a relationship with her throughout the years. Now, if they coached her into cahoots, they can do that. But I was there when Jane told me when she was 4 years old, coming from Dawn and Darren's care in Baltimore, Maryland, in the foster system, because I called the police to get Craig Ronald Williams Jr. to leave me alone because I was trying to get me and my child's, Marquise Williams, ready for me to go to a mommy and me school that I was able to go and further my high school education and be able to take my child as well to have childcare. And they had activities that I could interact with them throughout the course of the day until it was time to be taken home. That was my passion. That was one of my reasonings for going to Maryland from Trenton, New Jersey, from the Homestead hotel that we were placed in. There was a lot of things that had transpired in Trenton that made us decide to go to Baltimore, Maryland. But when we got there, instead of it being a beautiful experience, that day when Craig Ronald Williams slapped me and I called the police and his mother pulled back up from taking her husband to work and saw her son in handcuffs, that's when all of the lies started spewing and coming out to where it got to where I got locked up. See, y'all got their side of the story. Nobody asked me what my side of the story is, but because these people have people of higher rank and authority, they abused it. When she saw her son in those handcuffs, she got pissed off. And then she conjured up this lie and told the police that I abused his children, Jane Williams and Craig Williams Jr. We were transported to the hospital. They put me in one room and the Dawn and the other children in the other room. They took Dawn, Jane, and Craig in the room directly next to me. We are so close, I can hear somebody breathe next door. In the course of us waiting to be seen and to be questioned or talked to or examined, Miss Roche was in that room coaxing Jane and Craig, known as CJ, and telling them to tell the people when they came in the room to tell them I did it. Jane admitted to that as well. She said it out her own mouth. Now, y'all been sitting here with my phone cloned and listening in on my stuff. Y'all heard the conversation that took place this summer. Y'all heard what Jane told me. And like I said, if it's a part of the setup, they still part of the setup, because Darren Roche was the first one that Jane told me that was doing lewd things, like having her put her mouth on his private area and have ejaculation coming out of it, having her lay on her stomach and do all of these things, just laying there while he had his way with her and humped on her to the point of ejaculation. And don't tell nobody. He also was doing it to CJ as well, Craig Jr. But Craig Jr., being a young man, he wouldn't admit to that. But he knew and he saw what was going on. And Don Roche is a very manipulative person. I should know. I've dealt with Craig Williams, I want to say, for about 4.5, 5 years that he and I were together. I've been around his family long enough to know how they are. And because I know this, I also know that Elizabeth Bethia and Fannie Mae Simmons were also sexually violated in their youth by Craig Ronald Williams Sr. out of omission, out of their own mouths. And I will refer back to the recorded phone calls, because my phone has been hacked since October of 2016.